Are you ready? What?
Hey,
What's up, man?
happy Tuesday.
It's a great Tuesday
Happy Tuesday.
because we have Still Austin here.
Yeah, this is fun. We had a great stream last week. Nancy Fraley was in the house. We talked a little Still Austin among some other of her fantastically cool picks.
Definitely.
And she sang their praises. So we were stoked that we were able to back have Nancy, and then we're going to have Brandon on tonight from Still Austin. Going to pull him up in a couple minutes. So I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen. So last week I think set the table for tonight, and next week we'll have on David from Wyoming. So it's sort of like I'm two distilleries, especially tonight, that within the last probably year, Still Austin's one of my favorite craft distilleries out there. So I'm really interested to have Brandon on, talk everything about like sort of where they're from, where they're going.
Yeah.
And guys, if you have in the chat, if you have questions, if you super chat something, you can put it in there. Everything we're drinking tonight, you'll get a sample of. Plus, Brandon's thrown in some swag from
Still Austin.
Still Austin. So there'll be one lucky winner getting all the expressions that we're tasting tonight as a sample, and then
which is exciting.
The swag that they'll offer. So super excited tonight.
So that's gonna be fun. And before we start, I briefly told the story last week, but going to Still Austin for the first time this year when I went in August, I was really impressed. And I'm even more impressed now knowing how quickly they've grown, and we're going to talk about that. So we're going to talk about that. But I took some pics, and I was actually there the day that they had the Nancy Fraley drop, and so that was kind of my real introduction into Still Austin. We've been fans ever since.
I want to know in the chat, what Still Austin products expressions have you had? Have you had the Musician? Have you had the Cask Strength? Which I think, to me, I can get it at Total Wine for like for $44. You can't beat that. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Then we have the Nancy picks that I know some of you out there have.
Yeah.
And then which is rather new, the Artist, which is their rye. And I just got this bottle a week and like 9 days ago. So Andy hasn't had any of that.
Yeah,
you think I like that?
It's going home with me tonight since you've had.
I don't think so.
This is ours. We're
once it gets here and I open it, it's mine. I'm pretty sure.
Ridiculous. Shauna, what's up? We had a new Patreon member last week. We want to say thanks again to all of our Patreon members and welcome you. And hey, look, some really cool stuff coming up, by the way.
Yeah.
For Patreon
picks and all good stuff,
and a very fun, let's just say, tournament coming up very soon.
That's right.
So we're going to be talking about
challenge. You could even say,
it's going to be a little different than some of the other challenges out there. I think
every night there's a challenge on.
It's going to be Patreons only. So
correct.
It's we think one of the best Patreons out there. So come join us, have fun. Welcome to the family if you can. But good to see you, Jay. Thank you very much.
Oh, there he is. He's in.
Pour some swag on me. I love it. Seeing the Def Leppard reference coming in already.
Yep. And you have a Still Austin shirt on.
I do. I got my Still. You can't really see it, but the back is really cool.
The back is the cool. It's got the snakes.
Is awesome. Yeah.
Yes. Love that shirt.
Picked this up when I was out there. No, I fell in love with the place really fast. And I'll wait the story until Brandon comes on because I have a funny story about that. But so speaking of which, it is our distinct honor to welcome Chief Operating Officer of Still Austin Whiskey out in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, man.
And we're glad you can join us tonight. So Brandon Joldersma, welcome to the show, man.
Where is it? Is it here?
That's not it. You're messed up already.
Brandon, what's up, man? We had sound effect that I don't even have loaded properly. What's going on, man?
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. Yeah, we were excited when we found out that you were going to be coming on and joining us. We have really been diving into Still Austin, and I think the story is just kind of remarkable, not only because of how good the juice is, but how good it is, how quickly it's become such a staple. So for those who don't know who Brandon is, Brandon, we're gonna put the spotlight on it, man, and you can kind of tell the world a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into the show.
There you go.
Oh, wow. It's just me.
Yeah. So
You're putting you on the spot. See, look, I'm Brandon. I like whiskey.
And I'll never come back again. Thanks, Andy. Appreciate that.
So I'm the chief operating officer here at Still Austin. Been here for about 4 years, coming up on 4 years here. My career has been in alcohol my whole adult life. Started out running restaurants. That got me into the wine scene for a while. Then I was in hard cider, and whiskey has been about the last 8 years of my life or so.
That's cool. Now,
Andy, wine. Your first love.
Yeah. No, so let's get into that. We'll pull you all somewhere. Yeah, there we go. We'll close. All right. So wine, one of my first loves too.
You started it. Here we go, guys.
I do. But now I read a little bit about your kind of love affair with wine, and also that it doesn't have to be expensive, crazy. It's just kind of what you like. Mm-hmm. So, tell me, what kind of wine do you enjoy? I mean, it's hot out there, so I don't know if it's white wines or. I got to get.
You
this
went right into it, didn't you?
I did. I'm curious.
Jeez Louise.
When I was a sommelier, I was really big into pushing white wine, like trying to get people to take white wine seriously. I thought that, most of the people that I knew that were really into wine was like, it's red and it's red only. So I got really into trying to push people towards like, German Rieslings and French Chardonnays and even Italian whites. A lot of European stuff was what I got really into back then.
So now you are sommelier.
I passed the intro. I took the certified exam when I was 23 and I failed it. And I was really bitter about that. So I never went back and did it. So technically I'm not a certified sommelier.
Well, look, just even getting that far, let's be honest, it's really difficult. I mean, wine is like learning not just a new language, like 10 new languages at once. It's kind of crazy because
let's do something easier. Let's talk whiskey.
Every year, I know, just humor me for a second. All right, just humor me.
Come on.
No. When I was in Baltimore City, and I told Nancy this last week. It doesn't pay anything. I was teaching in Baltimore City, so at night I was actually working in an upscale wine shop, and I had to do tastings. And they gave us notes upon notes to study, and you had to learn the terroir and the geography and where it came from. But it kind of made me fall in love with it. Like that was kind of neat, like where the different varietals came from and all that stuff. Which, Todd, so now you can humor me, is a good segue into when we started brewing beer, when we started doing things with as home brewers and like the local grains. And then it got us very excited about whiskey because of the, pulling in a piece of the local terroir where you are, which is kind of cool where you are with Still Austin, everything being Texan grown.
So and that might actually be what attracted me to Still Austin was I think there are some really unique terroir-like things to talk about with our whiskey and why it makes it special.
No, there's definitely a tie there.
I think the cool thing about it, and Brandon, we live right outside of Baltimore, so we're big Sagamore fans, right? And so one of the things I think we love about that, not only it's in the backyard, but they're trying to bring back, Maryland rye. And so everything they're doing now is trying to be completely sourced from Maryland. The grains, and it's distilled, it's aged, and also the barrels. The actual oak is actually from Maryland. So everything is Maryland, similar to what you're doing at Still Austin. I've read I'm going to read this quote that I saw that Brandon mentioned. I thought it was really, poignant to what we're talking about. He says, "We want to make the highest quality spirit you possibly can. We want to be a representative of our Texas geography." And again, just like Sagamore. I think that's key. Yeah. Tell us a little about that and sort of why that's so important to the brand and you guys at Still Austin.
Well, so in my mind, there's not a whole lot of geographical connotations for what it means to be a whiskey from a certain place outside of Kentucky and Tennessee.
Right.
Those places have, all that history to it. And it's only been in the last, 15, 20 years that there's been, craft distilleries popping up throughout the country. And there's a lot of great whiskey. I mean, there's great whiskey being made in every state now. But it's hard to say, like, this is why this whiskey means something from this place. I think, in the Pacific Northwest, there's some really great like single malt whiskeys being made with grains that are grown up there. Some distilleries in Colorado are doing a really good job with that as well. But for us, I mean, it was really when I got connected with the founders of Still Austin a little over 4 years ago, and they flew me down here. And it was when I tasted what they had in barrel, was about 1 year old at the time, that I was like mind blown. Like, this tastes unique to me, and there's no way in hell this is 1 year old.
I think that's an amazing thing too.
1 year old, unbelievable. All right, so not to cut you off, but I think that's when I tasted this. Andy I was at Total Wine, and this was probably a year and a half ago, and you had mentioned Still Austin, and we just started seeing it here in Maryland. Where are you? Not the side note, but distribution for Still Austin, is that we've had some people say I can't get Still Austin where I live. How what is your distribution like? Is it expanding?
That is a common complaint right now.
Yeah.
We are only in full distribution in Texas, Louisiana, and Illinois. Like that is it. So we have a relationship with Total Wine where they buy some product through us, and we're in various Total Wine locations in 10 other states other than those two, but that's exclusive to Total Wine. We're not actually licensed to distribute in those states.
Got it.
We're kind of trying to expand with depth into each market rather than going broad very quickly. It's I could talk about that for an hour if you guys wanted to, but it's a tricky thing when you're a craft distillery. To expand and really do the right due diligence you need to do in states, to not just, with your distributor, not just with the chains and the independent retailers, but with the consumers to know who you are. We're starting to hit that point now where we have people all around the country just being like, please open in our state. So we're working on that.
It's not a bad problem to have.
It won't be this year, but in the next few years, we'll be blowing up more and more.
That's really cool. And it's not a bad problem to have, but I don't know if, and tell me if I'm wrong, that even you guys would have predicted how good you were so quick. I mean,
sourcing anything,
nothing sourced. I
never sourcing a bottle of whiskey.
We used, like we said, we started as home brewers.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about that is that you have freedom to do whatever you want. You can make a batch. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. You toss it, and 3 weeks later, you got a new batch
for beer.
Yeah. Scary with whiskey, right?
Very scary.
Whiskey is extremely scary because you got to get it right.
That's why we are brewers.
And you can't rush the process. And I think that's what was amazing was when I had this for a 2-year whiskey, I was like, damn, this is really, really good. And it didn't. Craft is great in beer. It can be a 4-letter word in whiskey. It didn't taste crafty. It tasted
I could not believe when you told me this was 2 years.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody always gets hung up on the age statements. Texas is different, right, Brandon? So let's talk about how the climate in Texas sort of accelerates that process so that a 2-year whiskey that you guys are aging is maybe the same as a 4-year whiskey somewhere else, or 5, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I try and shy away from saying it just like that because it sounds like we're trying to cheat or something, but it's just the reality of the environment. Right. Actually, the way we describe it is the weather here is kind of a beast that needs to be tamed. Mm-hmm. A criticism of Texas whiskey in general tends to be that it's over oaked, or it tastes too much like oak. So that's something we deliberately try and balance out with Nancy's help, which I don't know. I haven't watched the show you did with her last week, but I'm sure she talked about that a little bit. For us, it's not just the heat that we get here, it's the fluctuation in temperature, especially in the fall, in the spring. It can be 90 degrees during the day and it's then 40 at night, and that'll just happen on a daily basis for weeks on end. And, where we're aging our barrels, they're out in the middle of nowhere in between here and San Antonio, just in the Texas countryside. And it's concrete floors, aluminum siding, a roof. That's it. Like no electricity, no nothing. They just go there and they're exposed to the elements. And so when it gets warm, obviously the barrels are absorbing more of that whiskey. When it cools down, it pushes it back out. So they're breathing, and cycling very quickly. The last distillery that I was a part of running was in Michigan. And this is very different than that in terms of the aging environment. We would chart the temperatures, and it was just this very boring thing like this. But here in Texas, it's insane how much.
Well, yeah, you do a 12-year Still Austin, you might have nothing left in the barrel.
That's true.
Because
we do lose a little bit more than is typical as well.
Well, you guys are also doing the slow water. Nancy talked about that. That's sort of slow water reduction, and how that sort of is something that not a lot of people are doing, and you are. Maybe talk to us about that, what that means when you're, instead of cutting and proofing it down after you take it out of the barrel, you guys are doing that in the barrel. And what does that do for the whiskey?
So almost every distillery will pull out at whatever it ended up with through barrel aging. If they barrel at 120, it might go up to 125. It might go down to 115. They're pulling out, they're blending the barrels together, and they're like, okay, we need to get this down to 94. Let's add a bunch of water until we get there. For us, Nancy, and this is 100% Nancy who asked us to do this, and it was easy when we were small. It's become more difficult and laborious now. We have one guy who it's his entire job now.
Gosh!
We pull barrels, we test the proof on them. They get watered down, maybe 2 proof points or so, And this is all anticipating stuff that we'll need to bottle about 6 months out. So we have hundreds of barrels right now in the slow water reduction process, and that's taking it from, we used to barrel at 118. So the stuff that we're pulling and watering down is right around 118. We don't see a whole lot of proof fluctuation in our stuff as it ages because the humidity is fairly perfect. I think we don't get a lot of water or it's about equal amounts of water and alcohol that are evaporating out of the barrel. But now we're barreling at 116. That's also to help kind of mitigate the issues with the weather. And we are slowly watering it down. So when we're ending at that slow water reduction process, right before we bottle, we are near bottle proof at that point. So the musician, being at 99.6, is that what it is? 98.4. We'll pull out, once we blend all those barrels together after the watering down process, they'll be at about 100. So it's just a little bit of water that we need to add to get it down to that final proof. And what Nancy has taught us, and to be totally honest with you, so I'm an operations guy here. I'm not a distiller.
Understood.
I'm the guy who's looking at spreadsheets and giving people bad news all the time about how much stuff costs. I was skeptical about this, but Nancy was telling us that at these different proof points, in the barrel, the liquid is actually interacting with different flavor compounds inside the barrel. And so if you're doing that proof down slowly, you're actually developing complexity as you do that.
Yeah.
I think what she says is over 114, it's more of the alcohol soluble flavor compounds that are in there. Once you get below 114, it's more of the water soluble flavors that you're pulling out of that. And we've been able to test this. We'll have barrels that went through a 6-month slow water reduction that are at 100 proof. And we'll have another barrel that was right next to it from the same batch that's still at 118. And we can pull a sample from there, water that down to 100, taste them side by side. And it is mind-blowing, the difference.
Isn't that crazy?
And so when we did those tests a few times, we're like, I don't care how big we're going to grow. We're going to keep
doing question. How do you scale that, though, as you grow? I mean, I assume that's going to be a difficult thing to do, right? I mean, or maybe you can do. I mean, if you grow and you're doing this to all your barrels, that's a big job, right? I mean,
it is a big job. Yeah, no, we're committed to keep doing it. I mean, it's lucky that we have a relationship with a guy who owns a big chunk of property, like I said, out in the middle of nowhere, and we'll just keep putting up barrel warehouses.
All right, we got a question I got to ask you real quick. And you're an operating guy. We have Robert Shea, who is headed into Austin on Sunday. Will there be any Nancy's pick there to grab, do you think?
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right, man.
Good stuff.
Actually, problem with that, though. Thanks, Texas. You can't legally buy bottles on Sundays.
Oh, no.
So
go Saturday.
You could call ahead and pay for one and have it set aside.
There you go.
And have your friend grab it. That would be the move.
Cool. All right, so we just poured Brandon the musician, and when I first got this, so my first foray was I'd never tried the musician. It was the Cash Strength and Nancy. That's all I'd ever had from Still Austin. Loved them both. Here's what I love with it: it's so like tropical, right? I get such tropical notes off the nose, and even in the palate. It's just and for 96 or 99 proof, I think it's oily as all get out. So,
well, and Brandon, what you may not know is that we are now complete. Total certified nosing experts because Nancy did give us a crash course last week
how to do
on how to do this.
We were doing everything wrong.
So
we were swirling
how to hold the glass properly, how to make sure that we're going across. So
my biggest pet peeve in the industry is all the shots of distillers holding up the glass to the light. Like this, like that, it means anything.
Like
they do with wine. Look at the legs.
Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So I mean, absolutely. I don't know if anybody out there has ever had the musician. Again, you're the guys. I think there's people in Texas, but I loved how this one was super oily, and I think that has to do with your slow water reduction and how it allows that sort of mouthfeel to still not feel like it's proofed down in terms of the body of the whiskey. And I love that. Yeah. And I thought it was super tropical, and even like a pineapple coconut type of toast on the nose, cinnamon, very buttery on the mouth. I love. What do you think? This is the first time you had that? Have you, or do you have this one? Did you get?
Oh no,
you've had this one before.
Yeah, I've had.
Okay,
this was a staple for a long time before I discovered Cask Strength, and then I had them both rolling around. So yeah, this is what I like about this too. Is it drinks bigger than the proof. I think it's very viscous. I think it's got a great mouthfeel. It's got a good finish.
the mash bill on this, it's so it does. Yeah, I would say there's a spice sort of component to it. I'm getting that sort of rye spice, and it's 25% rye spice. So it's 70% white corn, which is I think something Nancy talked about, how that's it's sweeter than that the normal corn you would see, and 25% rye and 5% malted barley, 100% Texas. Yeah,
and that's something I think I hadn't said explicitly yet, but I want to hammer home is that these are 100% grains grown in Texas.
Yeah.
We, you guys mentioned we make everything from grain to glass. We've never sourced anything ever. And it's all Texas grains, which actually mean they're different types of grains that are typically used for bourbon. I mean, we don't grow much yellow corn here in Texas, but yellow corn is what makes up, most bourbons.
White corn's better.
White corn has a culinary history here in Texas as well, which we think is pretty cool with the, tortillas, tortilla chips. It's used in a lot of Tex-Mex applications. And it makes it taste a little different.
It is funny though, what I really like about Still Austin is, and this is, and we said this last week.
Yeah,
we don't bash any other distillers because it's a craft and it's a passion. Everybody has it, but the flavor profile of a Garrison Brothers or a Balcones, and I know they have different expressions, but very different. Mm-hmm. There's something that feels so much more traditional in what you get from Still Austin, yet still has that distinct Texas kind of note to it, which is fun. And I think that's cool because it just like we said, it doesn't feel crafty, but it also doesn't feel Kentucky.
Well, it's sort of like, I hate to use it, is what we see here at Sagamore, right? It's a craft distillery. They're doing everything from Maryland grown now in their newer expressions, right? What they're putting out. And when you say it doesn't taste crafty, it tastes really good, is what and it's the same thing with Still Austin.
Well, craft is not necessarily a bad word.
I know, but people use it that way.
But craft is also often associated with young, which can be a bad word in whiskey. And you guys are young, but you're good. And it can be something where it's a little bit kind of, medicinal and raw and still not aged well. There's so many things that come with craft, and you fit the bill for all of it, but the profile doesn't fit. It tastes like you've been doing this for 20 years, which I think that's a testament to what you guys are doing. So it's good stuff. It really is.
Yeah, thanks. What we hear a lot is this is a Texas whiskey that doesn't taste like Texas whiskey, or what people are used to as Texas whiskey. And I'm kind of tempted to follow up and say, no, this is Texas whiskey.
There you go. Right.
You just haven't had Texas whiskey that tastes like this before.
All right, so let me throw you your first
real quick. Let me give you a question from the chat real quick. From the Mash Bill, give a super chat. He wanted to know, what are the chances the rye ends up a Total Wine? Also, is there a cask strength rye on the way? I have to ask that. I think Nancy said yes, she thinks, but she's not the COO. You are. What are the answers to those two questions?
Yeah, so the rye is already at all the Total Wines here in Texas. I'm guessing the Mash Bill, you are not in Texas.
He's in California.
California. Okay. Yes, we are working on that right now. Total Wines' logistical path to getting into those states that we're not in distribution in is a little complicated, but we are working on that right now. I'd guess in the next month, rye will be at all of those locations.
Nice. That's what I like to hear.
Then,
I'm telling you right now, that's going to be your everyday. I mean, to me, that is. I love that rye. It is so good, and I love when you can find a rye that's readily available if it's and it's priced well, and it's amazing.
I think that's the other thing that we failed to mention. All the offerings are priced really well compared to their contemporaries, and for what you get.
I can get this cask strength at Total Wine because it's a Spirits Direct for $44,
which is insane.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
They're not making very good margins on that.
No, they're not. It's $49. Now it might have gone. This was probably 3 months ago. I got about the 3 bottles.
Well, you're the spreadsheet guy, Brandon. You're going to send them. You're going to send them.
I just screwed that all up for myself. Dang it!
So we're paying $65.
I can blame myself. About to fire off an email to Total Wine real quick. Let me answer that other question that was just asked too.
Sorry.
Yes, cask strength rye will be coming in September.
Oh.
And
there you go.
That'll take a little bit to get out to California as well, but that'll be coming, and it'll be on the, on our e-commerce on the website as well, so you can order it to get shipped.
Yes,
very cool,
beautiful.
I'm very excited about that.
It's great as
are we, because
Real quick, Brandon, I want to going back to when you first started out. We mentioned how you've never sourced. Take me back to that, because when you think of distilleries that come up, the only way that they can sell a product is that they source whiskey, right? So you start making your own juice, but it's not going to be ready for in sometimes 4, 5, 6 years. You guys had that process up, but still for those first 2 years, you didn't have product. What did you do?
We did have product, and the fact that you don't know about that, it means I did my job well and hid all of that from history.
There you go.
Still Austin had released like White Dog whiskey at the very beginning. It was new make, and they had flavored new make. There's like a citrusy one and a spicy one. That was before my time. And I mean, frankly, I give them a little bit of fun for that. But I would prefer that they had done that rather than source whiskey,
right,
and sell whiskey that was made elsewhere.
Yeah.
And so that kind of kept things going for a little while for the first few years, and then we were able to transition to the aged product. Once the Musician came out, we let those other ones go.
I think it's amazing. That's so cool. I mean, you don't see that very often.
No.
I mean, even who we love, Sagamore, they're in year 5.
Well, and you may see
their
Brian Treacy popping in and out of the chat every now and then. So I don't know if you know him or not, Brandon. Good guy over at Sagamore, but good people. I think you guys would hit it off.
I know a guy who helped Sagamore get started, Larry Ebersol.
Yep.
You guys know Larry?
We've never met him, but I know the name. Yes, we know of him. We've never met him, but yes. Yeah,
so he helped a lot at my last gig, and then he's actually done a little bit of consulting for Still Awesome here to help us with some of our processes. Nice. The dude is a grumpy expert. I love the guy to death.
Grumpy expert.
He's a grumpy expert.
I like you, Andy.
I was going to say, I like that.
Except scratch the expert.
It's just grumpy. Yeah,
grumpy.
It works.
Oh, yeah, you can do your question now. I'm sorry. I butted in.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I'm used to it, Todd.
That's right.
With you.
I know.
All right. So I always ask our guests this question. You're out and about and you need to pour a whiskey and they have no Still Austin.
What's going on with that?
What is your go-to whiskey? What do you drink? What do you order?
Putting him on the spot now.
Just putting me on the spot. I'm an Elijah Craig small batch guy.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. That's a great answer.
It's whatever you want it to be. That's great. And I think
it's great.
Can't go wrong with that.
It's not very expensive.
Yep.
And it's very, very good.
It's very good, and it's usually available everywhere. So,
yeah.
There you go.
Available everywhere. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Yeah, Christopher
right.
Sneed.
What about you guys? Can I turn that back around on you?
Ooh, I like that, Brandon. Andy, right back at you, Andy.
Okay,
you can't have any. Oh, see, he's had. It doesn't work.
Well, you tell him his typical go-to, and he can't have that.
Yeah,
you can't have that. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Traverse City.
Yeah.
So I
really
we are. They're yeah.
I really do like their stuff. I think they're North
You
Coast.
say that like you're surprised.
No, I'm a Michigan boy. That's where I'm from. So
there you go.
I'm pleased that we're representing.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. We had Chris Fredrickson on about a year ago. He's a really cool guy. But I mean, kind of a lot like the artists, like their North Coast rye is phenomenal, and it's priced right, and it's just a really good pour. So, I like
that answer.
There you go, Andy. There, you're scoring points.
Okay, Todd, what say you then? Let's see.
Well, my go-to would be anything Sagamore because I'm a big homer. So but we'll say that's off the table. It's probably going to be either a Larceny barrel proof or a ECB barrel proof. So a Heaven Hill product for sure. And then one of those two. I'm a proof whore, I guess they could say. I like higher proof. So to me, that's what I would go with as an sort of everyday.
He stole that from Nancy.
I did steal that from Nancy. I said, you know what I like that I'm going to steal that too because I am one as well. So there you go.
That's funny.
Wild Turkey. David B says Wild Turkey 101. That's a good one too. Yeah. Look, everybody's saying Turkey 101. Turkey 101 is there.
Yeah, put in the chat. What's your go-to?
Top shelf side said Old Carter.
Yeah,
that's not my go-to.
Todd was afraid to tell you that if it's under $100,
that's not true at all. I got this fake news right.
He got a bad reputation for expensive whiskey fast.
I did.
That's all right. That's okay.
I did. Anyway,
but
all right, let's move on to the next one. So I want to really talk about the cask strength because this is where I fell in love with Still Austin when I went to that Total Wine and I was going through and I said, Andy, here's. Their expressions were there, and I said, Andy, they have Still Austin cask strength. I said, but it's 2 years. It can't be that good, right? And I didn't know what I was talking about. And he said, no, get it. I guarantee you'll love it, and especially for that price. It's so worth it. And I haven't looked back since. Now that I've told you that Total Wine has it priced way too cheaply, I'm going to regret that. But I'm still going to buy it. So that's good. Tell us about the cask strength. Now we're moving up in proof here. No, I assume. We're not. Are you still doing water reduction on this, or no? Or
no.
How does that? No, right. So this is strictly coming out, and this is 118 proof.
118. Yeah, we got. Like I said, the barrels don't change that much in proof. So we have some that go up a little, some that go down a little, and we can keep that right at 118.
Got it.
So this is really a labor of love for Nancy. I mean, we send her a ton of samples of this mash bill, and she decides, which ones go through slow water reduction to become the musician, and she kind of handpicks ones that become the cask strength. And so this is her looking for different characteristics with those ones that might benefit from slow water reduction, might be better at that lower proof, versus kind of the picking the star players to keep that cask strength with here. So the cask strength tends to be a little older, while the age statement says over 2 years. Those tend to be anywhere from 2.5 to 4 years old, the ones that are getting picked for that. We're working on right now potentially, bumping up that age statement to 3 and not choosing anything under 3 years old for those. But yeah, this is kind of the special picks from this mash bill. And, you're tasting it and you're giving compliments to it. So it's this is my favorite label, I think, out of all.
Let's talk about that. So yeah, it's all a local, still Austin sort of. I had his name somewhere written down. I wish I thought. There it is. Thank you. And I love it. It's tribute to music, of course, because of Austin. But love the labels. Super nice that you do that.
Yeah, thanks. Mark is like a internationally renowned artist. Has done work for Gucci and Ferrari and a bunch of different companies, and he just happens to live here in Austin. So he's become a good friend. And these are hand painted. Like he makes paintings. Actually, this behind me here is a literal painting that he did right here. This
That's
was
amazing.
The first iteration that we did of the artist.
That's great.
Oh, that's really cool.
So cool.
We decided not to go with that, but that is the actual painting that he made for the label.
That's really cool.
There you go. That could have been. Hey, maybe that'll eventually be on some kind of anniversary bottle or something like that. I don't know. There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That's awesome.
So again, Andy, on the cask strength, what I love again, you still get that oiliness. You get the bump. It's like everything else is, but it tastes a little bit different than the. It does taste different than the musician. I know it's a cask strength, but I get more. And I have on my notes down here, but. What do you get from this expression in terms of flavor?
Well, again, you're bumped up and improved quite a bit. So it's very bold. The mouthfeel is fantastic on this.
Like the brown sugars and it's
you
really
do get
big
more
time
of the brown,
instead of the citrusy. The
birch sugars and
sugar,
cinnamon on the back of this.
Yeah, brown sugar, big time.
A little bit of spice, a little heat in the back, which I really like. Mid palate, which is really good. It's another really well done offering. It really is. We talked about this with Nancy too last week, but how sometimes barrel proof can hide the deficiencies in whiskeys. And this is just one of those pours that just is start to finish. It's just a solid pour all around, especially again for the price that you're paying.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think you up that price and you get in all the states, and maybe that's what we need to do. So
what are you doing, man?
I'm just trying to help just on the business side. That's all.
Is that what you're doing?
Well,
now?
Justin, I'm going to be in Austin. I'm flying. Brandon. I'm flying into Austin on May 1st, I think.
Are you going to stop at still Austin?
I am definitely going to stop. So if you're around and you want to grab a dram,
he'll be in town.
You let me know.
May 1st. All right, I'm putting in the calendar now.
Look at that, Andy.
Sweet.
There it is. So again, to me, for $49 is what at least they had it. I know that that's kind of cheap. I know that, but even at $59, $69, I think this is a fantastic barrel proof whiskey. What do you think? You mentioned that it might go up in age, so it's at I think above 2. It's usually 3, 4. Is the idea to get these to a 3 to 4, 5 year age statement? It doesn't really matter. It's how it tastes to me. Again, you mentioned that. I know we get hung up on age statements, but how is that going to change the flavor profile of this? Because I think it's great now.
Yeah, the 3 to 4 is the sweet spot. Yeah. I think. We can talk about that a little bit more too when we get to the next bottle you have there with the Nancy's pick. That is a 4-year-old single barrel, hand selected by Nancy. I think those picks have given people an idea of the true potential of our stuff as it continues to age. So it's phenomenal.
It was the best bourbon we had last year.
Well, I don't know who the gal behind the counter was when I went to Still Austin.
Yeah.
But twice I was upset. And so I walk in there and I'm like, ooh, Nancy picks. It's like, I would like to try one, miss. And she goes, oh no, you don't get to try this. If you want it, you buy it. I was like, well, what if I don't like it? Oh, it doesn't really matter. You're going to buy it. I was like,
you knew who Nancy was.
No, it didn't matter. I was like, a little nip. Come on.
He's like, I got a YouTube channel. She's like, I don't care if you have a YouTube channel. I really don't care.
I hadn't said that yet. But so anyway, I was like, all right, I'll buy one. And then I was pissed off because I didn't buy
more.
Because it was just that bloody good. I went back to the hotel. I was like, if I didn't,
I'll
have
never
to get
forget
on the
that call.
plane
He's like,
that
Todd, I
early-
can't wait till you try this. It's mind blowing. I was like, go back and get another one. It's like, my flight leaves in the morning. They're closed. I can't. I'm like, God. And he got it back. I tried it.
It was so good.
And it moved right
But
to
then,
number one whiskey.
but then, so I'm sipping on whiskey. I got a little sample flight. I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm enjoying it. And I said, hey, anything new coming out? She's like, our rye is dropping, and tomorrow, I think. She said, and I said, ooh, can I have a sip of that? She's like, no. I was like, what's with you, lady? I was like, come on, this is Texas.
Andy, she's just doing her job.
I know she was.
Don't get her fired.
Well,
okay?
she wasn't. No, she did a good job. But then I just kept talking and hey, Mo, got a little channel. This and the other.
She didn't care.
She did come around. She had a sample the rye. She goes. And I was like, well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I was like, oh, damn, this is good too. So,
well, hold on. Before we get to the ride, though, I do want to get to Nancy.
Right, but this comes to Todd.
Oh yeah,
both of ours, but his address.
Yes.
I hadn't even tried it. This thing is half gone. So it tells you how good that was too when we get to that place. But she did a good job. She would not budge. I had to do a lot of pushing.
Whoever you are, give her a ride. There you go.
I'll have to say hi next time.
No, way to go. You just took out my light, Andy. Thanks a lot.
Knock the light out?
Yeah.
It's all right. It looks okay, doesn't it?
Anyway, so let's talk about the Nancy pick. When we had Nancy on last week, Brandon, she said something I don't think is true. These don't come out every month, do they? Or do they?
They do.
They do. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Problem for me.
Pick every month, and when they're gone, they're gone.
Oh.
So,
all right. Is Mark Mr. Great Shot? Well, anyway, I shouldn't give out our contact. I'm going to need basically
I'll be there in
May.
Yes.
Hold on. March, April. There's 2 months before you're there.
Fine, but I mean, I'll be having a pour with Brandon. We'll hook you up. Maybe.
You know what's happening next month? Actually, we I don't think this is out there anywhere yet. This is only for people who can come to the distillery. Sorry for you listeners, but we've set aside some bottles from January, February, and this month of March from that pick. And starting in April, we're going to have a flight available of those picks and have some extra bottles from those set aside to buy.
I love that.
That is cool.
Andy, change your plans. Go in April.
Look, well,
I'm just joking.
No,
I think that's great. I'll save some samples for you.
That's cool. We'll talk and we'll drink them, and then we'll take a little video to Todd and say.
That's the other great thing. And we can talk about this, Brandon. I mean, you mentioned how you're 5 minutes south of downtown Austin. I mean, you are in downtown Austin. You're not out on the outskirts. You're right there, right?
Yeah. We were the first distillery open in the city limits of Austin since Prohibition.
That is really
That's amazing.
And it's a neat place. It's a cool place. It really is.
That's great. It's more in a tight area. Being real estate is expensive. Being this close to Austin.
There he goes. Plane tickets just purchased. Joe Graves going in.
All right. So Brandon, this is kind of off the wall a little bit here, but so when I was there, I stayed. I wish I remember the name of the street, but there's a bridge you go over that takes you over right by the distillery, where you can see the bats every night. People line up on the bridge.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do the story justice, but can you tell that Austin's a cool place?
Yeah, no, that's a huge deal in Austin. So this is the bridge on Congress Street, which is really like the main street that goes north south here in Austin. It's Austin is divided by the river, north and south. Congress is the kind of the main bridge that takes you over that. There's a few others, but yeah, every night around sunset, there's hundreds of thousands of bats that take off under the bridge and just start flying. So you can go there, and there's like a park where you can stand on the bridge, and every night there's people just waiting there, and you watch all these bats. It's really insane.
It's awesome.
It's super surreal to watch. Did you do it?
Excuse me.
Yeah, because I'm wondering. Yeah, I'm wondering. Like, I said, what are all these people just standing on the bridge for? Like what fireworks are going off or something like that? And like, we're here to see the bats. Like bats. Like,
I don't like bats.
They fly. I was like. It kind of freaked me out a little bit, but I was like, you know what? I'm still going to go check it out. And it was
cool.
It was really, really cool. Austin itself is a really unique city that does
music.
It's you know what I'm going to do while we're talking?
Yeah.
I'm going to.
What are you going to do?
Well, I have these pictures that I have from Austin. Are you a barbecue guy?
I mean, he lives in Texas.
All right.
I mean, come on. What kind of question is that? He lives in Texas.
I've got to find the name of this place.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, going on to Nancy's pick. So you say that every month though, so she's coming in, she picks barrels and you just allocate them out for the rest of the year. Is that how that works? I mean, if she's coming in, that's an amazing process.
We mail her a ton of samples.
Mail her tons.
Most of that picking she's doing, back at home. She picks typically like 3 months at a time. about a few months out. She'll say, here's the barrel I want for July. Here's the one for August. Here's the one for September.
Gotcha.
And then a few months later, she'll give us the next few months.
Got it. Okay. I love that listen, they're your barrels, so it's great. And I love that she does that. But
okay, sorry. Cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead. Cut me off.
All right, Brandon. Terry Black's barbecue. Have you been there?
Of course, yeah.
What do you think?
You must have loved it.
It's like B+.
There's
you
better.
have to let me know it's better. In fact, I tell you what, if you really do want to grab a drink, I'll take you out. You tell me where the best place is. I'll buy you dinner. We'll go. We'll go.
Take them up on an offer.
We might drive to Lubbock. You know what we could actually do? Some of the best barbecue here is in Lubbock, which is about 30 minutes away or so, and about 10 minutes further away is our barrel warehouses.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Can I come now?
No.
Yeah, dude. We could. I'll give you a drill. You could tap your own barrel. We'll taste it.
Eventually, our Patrons might want a barrel pick. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, we'll
Somebody
see.
said that already. I saw that in the comments.
Yeah, we're trying to get. We haven't done. We're trying to. We're there. We've got a couple. Maybe still also just move to the top of the list here, Andy.
That's no, that'd be fun. That'd be a hell of a lot of fun. That'd be great. Well, look, I went to Terry Black's. I'm not gonna lie to you. They had to roll me out of that place because it's old school. Like it's almost like cafeteria stuff. But you see all the different meats being sliced right in front of you, and then like, oh, you got to get your cornbread. You got to get your sweet corn. You got all this, and I was like, man, was it good? And if you're telling me it's better in Lubbock, then yep, we'll go to the warehouse. That'll be fun, and I'll buy you dinner. There you go. Deal. So yeah,
all right, and we want some footage for our patrons when you do that. Okay, we need video footage of the warehouse.
Fair enough. But Austin's a cool city. It's hot as hell. It was like 108 degrees when I got off.
It's a dry heat, right? But no, is it not? Is it humid too?
I don't care dry or not. It's 100 plus. It's hot, but it was fun. It was great. I like it. I'm anxious to go back.
All right, so we have the January Nancy pick. I guess the February has already been out, and the March will soon be coming out. Mr. Great Shot, when you go back to Still Austin, I'd like one of each, please. No, I'm just joking. No, I'm not actually. So here's the thing. I love that they are, the flavor profiles, they're different. They're single barrels, and we had the August was our first, and it was our top whiskey. I'd like to do a flight of different Nancy picks eventually. Hopefully we'll get a few more.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And really figure out, how different they are. I mean, this one is so decadent. And again, it's just we started out with the musician, went to the cask strength, and it's just the flavor just keeps getting like amplified, right? So it's a little more sweeter, a little more decadent on these Nancy picks. Coming in at again 116 proof. So there it is.
One of my favorite things is her tasting notes.
Oh well, that's the thing.
They're so over the top. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, she has on here for the palate bourbon, pecan pie, dark chocolate, coconut cream frosting, and almond mint cookies. I never would have said that, but who am I to argue?
Well, from wine, the descriptions will start to make you want to go ahead and grab that bottle. So,
oh yeah,
Nancy's so good. God, that's good.
She's talented. And she said it takes a hot second to write those too. Like she's kind of kind of dancing around.
True.
The scariest thing is when you're with Nancy and you're tasting a barrel, and she asks you, "So what do you think?" Like before.
What are you asking me for?
Damn it! No, you go first. I like it. Yeah, I like it too.
You know what? That's true. That has to be overwhelming.
What do you think? It doesn't matter what I think. Brandon, what do you think? Nancy?
Listen, I'm the operations guy here, okay?
Yeah, not paid to taste.
That's right. That's what we bring you in here for.
I'm here to increase prices at Total Wine, Nancy. You're going to pick the stuff. Come on. That's funny.
There you go, William. Put me down for more Still Austin. There you go.
That's fine. And guys, thank you to everybody who's been super chatting tonight. We want to say we appreciate it. Also, you're going to get samples of all of this tonight, which will be fun. And you get a swag pack that Brandon's going to send out from Still Austin.
Hat or a shirt.
I think a shirt and some other stuff, which will be really cool. So all that's coming to you, so we appreciate it. Thank you. All right. Now, Brandon, we are beer, bourbon, and rock and roll. So we told you we'd put you on the spot.
I'm nervous about this part.
Well, you said you were very particular. You like all kinds of music, but you're particular about different bands or music in certain genres.
Yep.
How do you feel about 80s rock and roll, more or less 80s like hair metal, glam rock? You saw the intro with Def Leppard, Bon Jovi.
Please answer right.
What are your thoughts, and do you like any of that style of music?
I need to say I'm not an expert, but I am a fan. I think from the 80s, probably the thing I like most in that genre, if this counts, would be Bowie. Huge,
Ooh,
huge.
like that.
Bowie
Bowie,
fan?
yeah.
Yeah, big
Very
Bowie guy.
glam.
Bowie's like original glam. Like
What- yeah,
those
he's the
guys are
original
like
glam.
those
The
are real
OG.
glam artists. Yeah.
OG glam.
How about Queen? A lot of times,
Huge Queen fan.
Yeah,
that would be the big two. Those are probably
There you go.
obvious answers, but
there you go.
I probably couldn't go down the rabbit hole with you guys too
There
much
you go.
more. I think it's like earlier stuff, you know, like 60s and 70s rock. I'm a little. I was a huge Hendrix fan for a long time.
Oh, yes.
Really, really into Hendrix.
My father-in-law saw Hendrix in a Philadelia club back in the day.
That's really
How cool is that story,
That's
right?
cool.
So cool.
Amy says, "How do you feel about Def Leppard?" She did that for me. She did. We told Brandon.
Brandon, please just say you like him. Just
Two thumbs up. For
two thumbs up, right?
What?
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is.
That felt planned. That felt
did.
forced a little bit.
Thank you, Heartsight. Still Austin samples, another swag. There you go.
That's
Love it.
really cool, Michael. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Michael. Cheers,
Actually,
guys.
well, you know what? We'll give Brandon a little Def Leppard taste because we want to say thank you to everybody who's super chat. So thank you.
Incredible.
So there's our rock and roll.
And Mr. Great Shot, Mark, he lives right around Austin. He's the one Mark is able to get us some of these. So Mark will be in. So Mark, you see Brandon, go say hi. He lives in the area. He loved you. He was there last week and got me another Nancy pick. So thank you, Mark. Appreciate the super chat. Pass it on to Joe Graves. Wow, there you go. All right.
Yeah, there's Dave. Hi, Chapman loves that Still Austin Cast.
It's so good.
It is really, really good.
Gosh.
The Nancy picks are fantastic. So
They are. All right, so let's move on to the rye. And I'm super excited about it because I've drank half the bottle. We recorded some videos last night, and you tried it for the first time. You're like, holy crap. I was like, he's like, yeah, I'm taking some. I'm like, no, you're not.
There you go.
We'll see. All right, there it is. So tell us about the rye. What do we got in this bottle, Brandon?
So I have a little bit of personal pride in this one here because when I started here, which was in July of 2019, I asked them to kind of taste me through what we had laid down so far. So they pulled a bunch of samples of different mash bills. And they said, this one is 100% rye, which I was like, ooh, that's cool. And I tasted it, and they said it was like 9 months old or so. And I was like, this is incredible. It's only 9 months old, and this is phenomenal. How many barrels of this do we have laid down? And they like, looked at the sheet. They were like, 9.
No.
Damn it.
We need a little bit more than that.
Did you say 90? No.
You say 90?
So I was like, we are definitely going to make more than that. So about a month later, we brought in a bunch more rye grain and made, a couple hundred more barrels of rye. And so it's taken this long to get to the point where this stuff is old enough that we could finally, release it as a flagship product. And I'm incredibly excited about it. I mean, it's a unique mash bill. You don't see a lot of 100% rye usually because of the enzymatic qualities of rye. You want to offset that a little bit with some barley typically. But for us, we have a great distiller and we have a great facility here that can. Are you guys muted?
Sorry. Yes. I'm just yelling at my son for being loud. Sorry about that. Yeah, that is.
I do know how that is.
There you go. Sorry.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this just came out about 4 or 5 months ago or so. I mean, I think, when you were here and got to taste of the sample, that was when we were releasing it here at the distillery. It hit the market a few months later. So it hasn't really gotten out there yet. And I am incredibly excited for people to start trying it. I mean, there's not a lot of other Texas ryes either.
No.
California's has one. A few other smaller distilleries have them. But for this is a flagship of this can really explode and become a big thing. I'm incredibly excited to.
It's really good, and it's just done well. Okay, so we rye is fun because there's so many different varietals of rye too.
God.
So is there something different about the rye from Texas, or is there a particular type of rye that makes this kind of Texas unique? Or is that true?
It is a specific type of rye called Elbon rye.
There you go.
Okay.
Which is grown. We were using Bracetto rye at the very beginning. We ended up switching over to Elbon rye just because of the supply that we could get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it is grown up north of the Dallas area. And yeah, it's a unique varietal. It's not incredibly unique to just Texas here, but it is, I believe, unique to most rye whiskeys. It's not one of the typical varietals.
Again, 99.6 proof.
Yeah, it's a great proof point.
It is. I love the baking spices, mint aspect. It's to me, it's what a rye should taste like. I love everything about this. It's sweet and spicy, and that rye spice comes through. The spice cuts through that sweetness. I get the mint. I love the mint
think
on it.
On the nose, so it's almost a little sweeter than a traditional rye, which I really like.
I can't wait for the cash strength. The cash strength is
nose is
going to be
beautiful.
bonkers good. Look, you're smiling. I mean, it's going to be bonkers good.
This is currently my favorite thing that we have. The rye. It's just it's unique.
Mine too, Brandon. I got this about a week ago, and it's already almost half gone. I don't know what it says about me.
Don't send any more. We're going to be checking time into Betty Ford soon.
No, it's super. I love it. Listen, I tried it, and it was a slippery slope. I was like, well, I'm going to have another one. I have to see if it opens up right. Oh, it's getting better. Oh, crap. Now I've drank half the bottle. Well, the interview's next week, so we'll be good. So anyway.
What might start happening, and this probably won't be until like January of next year, would be Nancy's picks for rye barrels.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
That's an understatement.
Take it.
That would be amazing.
Take a deep breath.
I love that. Well, she said last week, she loves rye. I mean, that's like her thing too. Her rye whiskey is her thing, and
well, did she tell you the story of how she's responsible for us being a rye distillery instead of a wheated bourbon distillery?
No, please tell us. That's interesting.
So when Still Austin started, they had decided they were going to be a wheated bourbon facility. So they started making, wheated whiskey for, I think, about half a year, like 6 months or so. That's all they were laying down. And then John, who was not the head distiller at the time, but is currently our head distiller, had been experimenting with, mash bills that he was more familiar with the rye, and had laid down a few barrels. And when Nancy came for the first time and tasted through the wheated barrels we had laid down and the rye barrels we had laid down, she was like, switch. Just make rye whiskey now. Like,
perfect.
Rye bourbon. Stop doing the wheated stuff. And we did.
Well, that makes sense. She said that she was, she loves rye whiskey. And so putting the ryes in that. So that's, hey,
although, is there plans for doing wheated as well down the road?
That's true. It's a good question. No, good.
No?
Good.
Okay.
Good. There you go. Just stick with you.
We actually found that it doesn't age as well in this climate for some reason.
Really? Interesting. Okay. Hey.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's interesting. That's good to know.
Keith Thompson, thanks for the super chat. Yeah, he says, love Still Austin.
Whiskey Uncensored, we actually did talk to Brandon earlier about expanding distribution. And yes, I think you're going to see more Still Austin to come very soon, which is good news for all of us.
Oh, God, this rice.
If you live anywhere near the One Total Wine in New York, that will have the product sooner rather than later, I think. Other than that, I think it'll probably be early next year when we enter distribution in New York.
Ben will go to any. He seeks out whiskey everywhere, so I'm sure he knows where that One Total Wine is.
This one's worth seeking out. The rye
is so good.
The rye, I will say this: it's a beautiful pour.
Yeah,
but it is different than a lot of other ryes. And again, it doesn't feel crafty at all. Mm-hmm. It feels like this has been a staple or a flagship for 10 years. But it's a beautiful pour.
But you're doing the slow water reduction on this as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do think that, blindfolded, if I was tasting this for the first time, I might not guess that it's 100% rye.
I agree.
I don't know why that is. But
I think it's quite sweet too.
But 100% rye, traditionally, you can get some very grassy herbal notes or it can be very dominant, especially when they're young. Mm-hmm. It can taste very raw.
The epic.
And this doesn't have that. This has more soft and floral notes that don't taste like you can get the vegetable medicine on 100% rye. None of that is present here, which is
I even
really
get like
impressive.
A chocolate too on this.
It's just a really pretty pour.
Honey, chocolate. Yeah. No,
it's a little bit sweeter than most ryes, I think, and it's a little bit less spicy than most ryes.
It's so
good.
It
still has that rye spice, but it's a little bit less. It's less aggressive.
Oh, I love this. I can't wait for this to be at Total Wine. I can't wait for the cash strength to be at Total Wine.
This is at the distillery, right?
Yes,
sure. Right? Oh yeah, I'll bring a bottle back for you, Todd.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Lord knows this isn't going to last long.
When did you say the cash strength's coming out? You said when? Of the rye?
September.
All right, we can wait.
I'll be back out in September.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention that. I mean, we currently ship to about 32 states. If anyone goes on our website and plugs in their zip code, you can buy it online and have it shipped.
Well, there you go.
Everyone's going to get mad when you see
put that link in our chat. Yes, somebody put the link in the chat
strength on there. You're going to be mad versus what you guys were just talking about. But
yeah, right. Yeah, it's all good. All right. So the last one,
So Mr. Great Shot's drinking the rye right now. He gets chocolate and rye. So he's actually
definitely
drinking along with us.
chocolate. I get even a mint. It's like the mint chocolate chip, sort of with a baking spice. It's how I like my rye whiskey, and I can't tell you. I can't.
All right,
I can't wait.
This is going too well. Let's give Brandon off the wall question.
Oh, here we go. He's got questions, Brandon. Nah, it's all fun. It's all fun. There you go.
So, you know what? I always like asking this question.
Okay.
All right. So, they're doing a documentary and a movie, and it's going to be called Still Austin, The Rise of the Young Whiskey, from Texas. And you're one of the stars in it, but someone gets to play Brandon in that movie. Who do you select as the actor to play you?
I know exactly
in the story of Still Austin. Chat, who you think should be playing Brandon too? I have an idea on this. I have it. But go ahead. So who do you think is playing? Who would you select to play you in the Still Austin movie?
What's that guy from the one I get the most is the guy from The Voice. What's his name again?
Voice.
Oh, the lead singer of
Oh yes,
yeah,
the country guy, the country guy.
Yeah.
Luke Bryan? No,
no,
not Luke Bryan. Shoot, somebody else known that.
Blake Shelton.
Blake Shelton. There it is.
Yeah,
he does.
Yeah,
I was gonna say Bradley Cooper.
I can see Bradley Cooper too. Yeah, Bradley Cooper, and then William Hall said Ashton Kutcher.
I always say, for me, it's we get fun ones with this one.
Insert any random bald guy.
That's
for
right.
Todd. It's not that hard.
I get Moby. I get Scott Van Pelt from Sports Center.
The lead singer of Smashing Pumpkins was a Billy
I think
Corgan.
Bruce Willis is much better.
You look nothing like you can't even grow. You can't even have a 5 o'clock shadow. You're not
That's
Bruce
true.
Willis.
God dang it! I suck. Oh well, it's all good.
You're a hairless cat. You're not going to know Bruce Willis.
A Shire cat. That's what I am.
You're like Mr. Bigglesworth from Austin Powers.
No. Oh, Ed Norton. Ed Norton. All right, there you go. All right, there it is.
You got Ed Norton too. Say, hey, people are giving you some good names here. All right,
I'll take it.
Yeah, there's Bradley Cooper. All right, not bad.
There you go.
So Troy.
That's for Todd.
That's for me. That's for me. That's for me. That's for me.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, here we go. There it is. That's it. Make fun of me. What about you, Andy?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
I was having lunch a couple years ago at a sushi restaurant.
Yeah.
I don't know how to take this comment, but some lady walked up to me and said, if all the countries of the world mated together and had a baby, you're what it would look like. And I had no idea how to take it. I didn't know this woman from Adam. I had no idea who the hell she was. I was like, thank you. Can I get back to eating? Had no idea. So I guess you can pick anyone.
Better than Bobby Lee or Kim Jong for Chris Need.
Oh, that's funny. So
Brandon, let me ask you this as we go on. Like, what's the future hold for Still Austin? I mean, I know we're going to get into now. Is this? I don't know if this was, but it's the first finished whiskey I'll have. We have the cognac finish from Mr. Great Shot. He sent us some samples. Are we doing more finished whiskeys? I mean, is this the first finished whiskey you've done, or you've done other finished whiskeys? Maybe I'm not aware of.
We do a few distillery reserve series releases every year, which have only been available here at the distillery, and those often are finishing casks. So we've done, cognac cask, we've done sherry cask, we've done a sherry cask a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Those have only been distillery exclusive up until now. We're working on changing that. I mean, the biggest thing is just upping the quantities that are available of these things. So it's aging, more barrels for longer. And so that should be happening later this year. Stuff that's like limited time releases in market. What I am super excited about, which I don't know if Nancy mentioned this or not last week, but we are working on a seasonal bottled and bond series that will be starting later this year.
Whoa!
Wow, that's fantastic.
I am incredibly excited about it. It's not quite time for us to be
a seasonal bottle and bond. So how would
it publicly? But,
okay. So how will that change each season? Will it be a different rye versus burp? Like, how will that work?
So we will have a summer expression, a fall expression, a winter expression, and a spring expression that are all different mash bills. And the same mash bills every year. So limited releases that on a quarterly basis come out.
That's awesome.
We're collaborating. The colors of the mash bill actually correlate to the season a little bit. So we will have a Jimmy Red Corn bourbon in the summer. So, red for summer. We'll have a high rye bourbon in the fall. So kind of, orange brown with the rye for the fall. We'll have a ultra high rye blue corn bourbon for the winter.
Blue corn.
Blue corn bourbon for the winter. So like blue, white, playing off the winter vibe.
Yes.
And then a bottled and bond rye for the spring. So green.
That is awesome.
Yes.
And by the way, that's really cool. So
Yeah.
I've had a single malt expression of the red corn, which was really good from, I think it was Jimmy's something revival. I forget. I was actually talking to you about it yesterday.
Yeah, I can't remember.
It was really good. And then Balcones has a baby blue corn, which is right next to you guys. That was fantastic. So there's some really distinct differences in the different types of single corn like offerings.
Yeah,
that's going to be fun. That's going to be a lot of fun.
I love
to dive
that.
into.
Would that be distillery
Really cool.
only though release, or would that be no? Oh,
No, that's going to be the first like true limited time offering products we will release. So those will go out to market. They'll go to every market we're in. They'll just be somewhat limited, and when they're gone, they're gone.
That's
so
really
John
cool.
Kranz, one of our viewers, wanted to know. He's up in Wisconsin. Total Wine, there's there. I mean, ETA on Total Wine in Wisconsin. I assume it's like every other. I mean, the distribution within Total Wine is the same no matter where you are. Or is it different? How does that work? Like, so he's wondering when Total Wine will get your product.
Total Wine is essentially asking us if they can open. They're choosing certain stores in certain states that they want to put our product in.
I see. So
it's not us dictating that at all. They come to us and say, "Hey, we want to put you in these 10 states," and we say, "Okay."
Andy,
they have not discussed Wisconsin to us yet.
Oh,
so if you want to just bother your local people at the Total Wines in Wisconsin and tell them they should start asking for it, that would be helpful.
There you go, John.
No, hey, spread the word because go pester them, and they'll be thankful when they get it in.
Andy, William Hall saying, anyone interested? I'm totally up for a road trip to Texas. Any takers? Well, I think
this is great though. I am super excited about this exposure to Still Austin. It's not the biggest distillery in the world. Like when I walked in there, I was amazed at what was going on in there. It's just, now, granted, I didn't see the warehouse with all the barrels yet, Todd.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
But I was like, man, it was unreal what was coming out of there. It was just really, really cool. So that leads us to our next expression that we're going to do.
The cognac finish.
Before we do cognac, I got to ask you a question, Brandon.
Yeah.
Being a wine guy.
Mm-hmm.
So I've had some wine finished whiskeys.
Yeah.
And they're really hit and miss.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're fantastic. Sometimes like it just does not work.
You're partial to port. You love that.
Well, port's a little stronger, being a fortified wine. Like my wife's Portuguese, I have to like it. So, but have you thought about doing a wine finish, especially with your background and liking wine so much? Have you thought about a wine finish for one of your offerings?
We have. I tend to get a little nervous about the drier stuff, aging in Cabernet barrels or any other like more typical red wine barrels. Often doesn't work to me when I taste other people's expressions because when you're adding like a bunch of tannin to whiskey, it just doesn't really work for me. And then even I haven't had too many like dry white wine barrels, like Chardonnay barrels or anything like that. I could see that working just because of if I could throw out a word there, like the malolactic fermentation that happens with Chardonnay that makes it kind of sweeter and buttery might lend itself to working really well with whiskey. But we have, dessert wine obviously works pretty well. Like you mentioned, port. We have bought a few different dessert wine barrels. The one I'm most excited about is Sauterne, which is, the French, famous French appellation outside of Bordeaux that makes what I think is the greatest dessert wine in the whole world.
Yeah.
We have a couple barrels from Sauterne that just arrived a few weeks ago.
That sounds awesome. Mm-hmm. That would be really cool. It's funny. If you've heard of Lost Lantern, they're starting to pick select barrels from different distilleries. So
I just okay if I tell this publicly, but they bought some barrels from us just recently.
You just made his day.
I'm a fanboy because they and you know why I'm excited about that?
Super fanboy.
They only pick the best of the best.
Yeah.
Which means they got one of your honey barrels because that's really cool.
And they know they have good juice.
So I'm excited. So Westward Spirits out in Washington. I want to say Washington.
I think it's Washington.
Yeah, Washington State. They did one was Lost Lantern that was finished in Chardonnay barrels, and it's fantastic.
We tried one that was in gin barrels.
It's really good. The other one was some Spirit Works in gin barrels.
Holy crap! I don't even like gin.
So
and he blinded it for me, and I loved it.
But it made me think, like, some wine finishes work, some don't. But with your background,
I know, right?
That would be really cool to dive into. So that's
he's the operations guy, right? He's not this, but that's okay.
The operations guy know their stuff.
That's true. He does know his stuff.
Yeah. Shout out to Adam at Lost Lantern, by the way. Good dude. I like that guy.
Very cool.
How much exclusive on 21090? Lost Lantern. Soon we'll have.
Say about that.
Yeah, you are.
I'll be all over that.
You might buy everything.
Still awesome Lost Lantern pick.
You may buy everything.
I'm all over that. Yeah. Well, because it was funny. Because I remember Chris Fredrickson from Traverse City.
Yeah.
I said I got no. It was James from Starlight. When I said I got the Starlight bourbon, he's like, "You got from Lost Lantern." He goes, "You do know your Lost stuff." I was like, "Yeah. I'm a fan." So they really only do
cognac
the best
cask,
of the best.
Andy. So this is my first time with the cognac. Cheers, everybody! And chat. Thank you to Mr. Great Shot for providing us with this sample.
Nose.
I know the nose is fantastic. Cognac, Andy. Tell me, or Brandon, what do we expect out of this expression? Tell us anything about that.
I'm going to walk over to the tasting room real quick and get a little sample of this. And
there we go. All right, there you go. Look at that.
I'm here on site, so I'm going to go get it. I'll be right back.
There you go. Cool. Okay, there you go. So, all
right. So
super breaking news, Andy. That made your day. Lost Lantern.
It did make my day.
Andy's the biggest in our chat. Andy is the biggest fanboy. To do the reason they do great stuff.
They do really good stuff, and I'm also stoked about going out to Austin in May because not only am I gonna. It looks like we're gonna hook up. We're gonna have dinner and we're gonna
barbecue. I might have to come to that.
I am gonna tell you right now. Announce it. The next night.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a 21090 meetup. So.
Ooh.
So anyone who's out in the
Mr.
Texas area, if you can come out, we're gonna. So Mr. Great Shot. I know there's a couple of people. I know that Groovy's out there. There's a couple people. So let's do a meetup in Texas.
I think Oreo and Eileen are in Texas.
Let's go. If you're in the Lone Star State in that area,
look at B Lady. I love seeing B Lady back. B Lady, Elizabeth. I'm so glad you're back.
I love Elizabeth.
We both love Elizabeth. She would like this stuff. All right, Andy. First cast strength. I'll wait for Brandon to come back, but the nose on this is fantastic. So cognac finish. I mean. I love the Sagamore cognac finish. Cognac, one of your favorite finished sort of variants for whiskey, or no? What do you like?
Yeah, I think cognac, sherry, and port are all really great.
I thought so.
To do a finish in.
Oh, look, the bee lady wants to come to Texas. Well, if everyone's coming, I'm coming then.
Hey, there we go.
And Jimmy's only 9-hour drive. I mean, Groovy's probably like 3 hours away.
You should. I'm just going to text your wife now and see if you have permission to go.
at 10:10. Yeah, do that. Do that right now. Do that right now.
All right.
Okay, so they're not pouring samples of this at the bar anymore. So I have to. I'm cracking a fresh bottle here.
Thank you. What a nice.
Can you hold that bottle up? I want to see that art on that. I haven't seen the art on this one yet.
Oh yeah. So
Oh, that's cool.
Yes.
This is the third release we've done in a December for the Distillery Reserve Series release, and what we've done every year with this is, and it's not easy, is to find an artist who's willing to hand paint on every label. So this label was painted white, like it was just came white, with the text on it and whatnot, and we gave all of these labels to an artist who hand painted on every single one.
That's awesome.
Every single one.
See, here's another one. They're completely
holy moly! So everyone.
This. Hold on. Let's see.
That's really cool.
I got all of our stuff here, but this is the one from the year before. Every label was spray painted on by a graphic artist.
I love that. I love that.
Before, fantastic. Another artist in town painted on every label.
That's really cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's the kind of stuff that makes me excited when I'm not, on spreadsheets and conference calls and stuff, working on stuff like that is.
I will tell you though, Brandon. So
I'm sorry, Keith. First week in May is when we'll do that. So I'll get information out of everybody. But yeah, that first week in May.
Oh, there you go. So one of the things we cut our teeth in. We were home brewers this channel. Then we went to craft beer. Then we started drinking barrel aged beer, and we're like, well, let's find out why we love these barrel aged beers so much. So then we started doing whiskey reviews, and now we're sort of everything. But when you go in and look for beer, and beer is a much broader market, you look at the can art, what we call now. Now it's not even bottles anymore; it's cans. Yeah, really draw you to the expression, and I think the similar thing, bottles, designs, as well as the art that's on the bottle, really grabs your attention. You have to stand out in the lineup, right? I mean, that's why you're doing that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of distilleries now doing, more interesting kind of wacky things with their labels. But for the most part, I think the industry is still kind of stuck in the past, especially compared with beer, especially compared with wine.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%.
We hear a lot that these look like wine labels.
Yes.
Which makes sense, but I don't know why that is. I don't know why, all of these distilleries are making stuff that looks very everything looks very similar.
Well, there's so
That's a good question.
well, your ryes are green labels of some sort with some print, and your bourbons and single malts are. But the thing is, whiskey's catching up. There's more and more craft distilleries that are coming out every day, and the older they get, the more opportunity they have to be better. So they're going to have to stand out somehow. Beer now, you go into a liquor store, and there's 3,000 different things to choose from just in one store, let alone the 8,000 breweries are there. I mean, now I'll go and I'm like, I'm in the mood for hazy IPA. So I go in there, I'm looking around, I'm like, what label looks cool? It's like, well, that has a shark reading a newspaper. Might as well buy that one. And I take it back home. Like there's no other reason now to buy it because there's so much to choose from. Yeah. So at some point you've got to market and you got to use, but this is cool because it's a piece of Texas and it looks really neat and it's elegant and it's just, it has a wine-esque feel to it, but it also has that refinement of whiskey, which is neat.
Well, it's local, and you have a local artist doing it. It's, in some cases, hand-painted on there, which is absolutely mind-blowing. And I love the fact that you're doing that, because not a lot of people do that. So
and as you guys know, like the beer market, the craft beer market peaked, a few years ago. So it's been on some decline. We saw that insane, tremendous growth that happened very quickly. And that's obviously more possible in beer when you're brewing and can have, something you brewed on the shelf in a few months. That's easy, but I think there's still a tremendous opportunity for what's what I call like medium-sized craft distilleries to make a big splash in the industry. Really, like to keep establishing, what it means to be from a specific state, what it means to be more creative with different mash bills, different labels, that sort of stuff. There's a lot of runway still.
Well, and you're in a unique position now with the popularity and the sales of whiskey, what they are, that you can still get a national footprint. The problem with being a beer, an upstart, brewery now is you're not going to be a national footprint. It's just really, really hard because there's just too much. So you literally become the neighborhood pub.
Yes.
You either get a food truck or a good chef, and it's where people come to congregate locally.
But we've even seen locally, breweries are going out. They're going out of business. It just happened here in Baltimore.
I think distilleries have a really good chance now to actually start to expand their footprint, especially if they do good work. Like what you're doing and how quickly you've done it gives you that opportunity to continually expand. Wyoming's coming on next week. They're already in 50 states. Their tracker, it took them what, 8 years to get there.
True.
It's you guys did that in half the time, which is remarkable.
Yeah, I have to keep reminding myself that the musician only came out 2.5 years ago. Like we're pretty fresh.
That is really insane. Yeah. Cognac is fantastic. I absolutely love it. Super fruit forward as well.
Oh, that smells great.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, really good. Real quick question for you from Brandon from Amy Boehm. What is the Order of Nancy? I actually saw that too. How do we get into it? So that's on your website. You can go in there. She's actually checking your website and saw the Order of Nancy. What is that? Is it something you sign up for or no?
Unfortunately, I can't talk about it.
She can't talk about it.
Well, he could be. They have to kill you.
I think it's Fight Club. It's like Fight Club.
Yeah. The first rule.
First rule, Fight Club.
No, it is a capped. Currently capped private club for some of our biggest fans.
There you go.
You get some special benefits and whatnot. We are looking at expanding it. What we do want to make sure is that we're taking care of the people that are in it.
Makes sense.
The bigger it gets, the harder that gets. So please.
I'm on the waiting list. I'm on the waiting list.
Sign up and hopefully we do have a decent sized waiting list at the moment.
What you're saying is I'm on the waiting list.
I'm sorry, Mr. Bigglesworth, but I don't think you're going to make the cut.
That's great. Perfect answer. There you go. There it is.
That's awesome.
Fight Club. All right.
All right. Let's give him another hard question.
I like this cognac though, man.
The cognac's
so how often do you put out finished whiskeys? You mentioned how it's a distillery exclusive, and Sagamore does it around us, and we're local. We can get it, but like, how often do you put out these expressions, these sort of finished whiskeys?
The last few years, we've done 4 Distillery Reserve Series releases a year. We'll do 5 this year. Not all of them will be finishing cask barrels.
Okay.
For example, we'll have one coming out actually in April at some point. That's going to be an oated bourbon.
What is it?
Oated.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Oated bourbon.
Yeah, I've had an oat whiskey from Kobo before. That's interesting.
Explain that. Hold on, back that up again. Hold on. So I've heard of using oats and brewing beer. Is it the same process here, where as the grain it's oats?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we use that for mouthfeel in beer, right? So we use oats a lot of times when we brew with beer. We use it for the mouthfeel. I assume you're getting.
I'll tell you the exact mash bill. Give me just 1 second here. It's going to be 58.
I've never had an oated whiskey.
I had an oated whiskey from Koval in Chicago, and it was really interesting. It really was. It was a cool pour. It was very different. So if you're looking for that traditional like bourbon or rye,
it's
not what you're expecting.
We put oats in beer for mouthfeel and sort of.
It was a hell of a lot of fun. It was a cool pour. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I will tell you, this release is going to be awesome. I mean, I hate talking it up because it's like distillery exclusive only.
All right, we got some Texas people watching us.
This will be 58% white corn, 25% naked oats, 7% wildfire malted barley.
Wow, wildfire malted barley.
That's awesome.
The hell? So what do we get on that? What is that going to taste like? Jeez Louise, how different is that going to be from your regular bourbon? Is my question. You don't know.
Not too crazy different. I mean, if I tell you, you're gonna be like, what is the deal with this? Like, there's something a little bit.
There's something different. But
like, there's oats in it, and you'd be like, oh yeah.
Okay,
that's really cool. I can't wait to try that.
Awesome, that's fantastic. So whose mad scientist idea was? Oh, that's great. That's I like that. I like that a lot.
John, our head distiller, we give him some license every year to just mess around with stuff. It doesn't always work, but we don't make too many barrels of the stuff. So my favorite thing that we've ever done with these limited releases is called Monster Mash. We've done 3 different expressions of that, where what he did was we don't buy super sacks of grain anymore. We just do our large silos outside. But when we used to buy super sacks of stuff, you'd end up with some that were like partially full and you didn't know what to do with them. So we had 5 different types of grain that were just sitting around in like half empty super sacks. We blended them all together, milled them, distilled it, let it sit, tasted it later. And it was just this really bizarre mash bill of 5 different grains. And it was phenomenal. And so we released it around Halloween and called it Monster Mash.
That's awesome. So cool. That's so cool.
That's really cool.
I'm moving to Austin.
Todd, you would know.
I'm telling you, man. It's warm weather, cool music, great whiskey, barbecue. What's there not to like?
Too hot for you out there.
Yeah,
that's true. Look
and
at me.
You get so look at you see this color now. You think he looks like a lobster now. Wait till you hit that sun.
That's just their alcohol.
You're gonna.
There's hats. I can be inside. It's all good.
Well, look, I'm gonna tell you, Terry Black's was ridiculously good barbecue. So if we're gonna do something better,
you're gonna Lubbock. Is that Texas Tech is in Lubbock? Is that where Texas Tech is? No, what's it? Isn't there a school in Lubbock, Texas? I thought there's a school in Lubbock. No, I don't know.
University of Lubbock.
Oh, there you go. Anyway,
I don't know.
What? Texas Tech is in Lubbock.
There you go. See, boom.
There you go.
I know my football.
He's college basketball
and basketball. Lubbock Tech, right? It's Texas Tech.
Yeah, that is Texas Tech. You're right.
Yeah, there you go.
That's really cool. All right, let's give you a tough question real quick here, just for fun. All right. Now, I know you're finicky about your music, but you're on a deserted desert island and you can only bring one album with you to play. What is the album? What is the record that you're bringing that you're going to have with you to listen to?
Easy answer for me.
Easy.
All right, great.
OK Computer by Radiohead.
Oh, Radiohead.
See, I was thinking he was going to go Hendrix or Ziggy Stardust or something like that, and you went, okay.
Andy, what's your album?
It is between Pyromania and Hysteria, and I can't decide, but it would be one of the two. I'll say Hysteria.
You know what mine will be, right?
Yours? Yeah. Britney Spears, Hit Me Baby
Shut
One
up.
More Time.
That's yours. You're the one who wants to see Barry Manilow and NSYNC and Backstreet Boys.
I went to Backstreet Boys with my wife, and they
they
were very good. They were good. I'm sorry. I can't. What am I going to say?
It'd be Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, that's right. Appetite for Destruction. It wouldn't be Kicks.
Well, I do like Kicks.
You would actually take that over Kicks. I'm blown away.
Yeah, that's a local band.
All right, that's good enough.
Can I do a greatest hits?
No, you cannot.
Okay. All right.
All right. Here's one more tough question for you. Since you are
last chance for the giveaway, guys. I'll still have some swag and the samples that we'll give you a sample of what we're drinking tonight.
You're allowed one last meal.
Oh,
what are you having to eat? What are you having for dessert, and what's your drink?
Hot chicken, Nashville style hot chicken.
What's that mean? Like Nashville?
Hot sauce, yeah.
Hot chicken. Okay, gotcha.
Hot chicken, yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so spicy fried chicken. That I think is my favorite meal from a specific restaurant in Michigan that my friend runs.
Wow.
From the Southerner.
That's awesome.
Nashville style hot chicken. For dessert, ice cream, vanilla ice cream.
Easy.
Nice.
Perfect. Perfect.
I don't know if I've asked you, Cut. Oh, and your drink.
Oh, and your drink.
Miller Lite.
That's awesome.
We got to hang out with
Miller Lite. You know what? Joe did just ask me
what
if I knew any real men of genius.
Crap.
And what a segue.
Oh, no.
That is almost, I can't believe. It's almost like we planned this.
They make fun of me, Brandon, a lot.
Bear with us, if you will, Brandon.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Really, Really, Really Bad Dancer.
Mr. Really, really, really bad dancer.
Arms swinging, knees bending, head bobbing to no particular rhythm. You're either dancing or you have fleas.
Call me a doctor.
As soon as you hit the dance floor, the taunts begin. Is that all you got, playa? Unfortunately, yes, that's all you got.
Pour it on now.
Who's in the house? Some guy who can't dance. That's who's in the house.
Your style.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, Mr. Happy Feet, because you really put the oogie in boogie.
Mr. Really, really, really bad dancer.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out. Word to your mother.
I don't think anybody likes to see that anymore. God dang it.
That was the first time for me, and I loved it.
I'm glad I could be. Oh, God.
That never gets old for me. I'm not going to lie to you.
It doesn't, does it? You know, he's the editor on our channel. He puts it all together. So that's
this is where it pays to be the creative mind of things. So
it does.
That's fantastic. Yeah, people are enjoying
YouTube
that.
gold, they say. Jason, the Master Jump says YouTube gold. So there you go. So anyway, all right. So guys, last chance. We're gonna spin the wheel. Also, once we get done here, we do have a Patreon giveaway of the Smoke Wagon Bottle and Bond and the Driftless Glen. So we'll get to that in a little bit. But any other questions for Brandon?
Let me see if I have one more that I can throw at him too. Well, first of all, Brandon, we want to say we hope you enjoyed yourself tonight. We hope you know. And if you are, if you're serious, I'll take you up on that offer. I'll be out that first week in May.
Well, you invite all of our viewers also.
I didn't invite anybody else.
Oh, okay.
They want to tag along. That's fine.
Okay.
But yeah, that'd be great. I would actually love that. So that's fine. So
it is literally on my calendar. So you reach out ahead of time and let's meet up.
That's great.
The tasting room is closed on Mondays, but that's not a big deal. We can.
Okay.
Oh, it's a Monday.
That's fine.
It's all right. He has keys.
That's cool.
I can try and make you a drink if you want.
Yeah, it works for me. Yeah. Actually, I'll put Todd, if you can put in the chat our email, and we'll send it to you. You can send us your email, and I'll just send you an email.
I'll do it in the private chat. How's that?
Yeah, that's perfect. And then you can pull that up. But yeah, no, that sounds like fun. Let me see. All right, two. Let's see. Oh yes, I want to ask you this. What's the best concert that you've ever been to?
Oh,
that's part one. Part two, what's one band you've never seen that you wish you could? It could be alive, dead, past, present, whatever. So best concert you've ever seen, one you wish you could see.
Okay, so the answer to the first one is going to feel lame because of my response to the Desert Island album earlier, but it was when I saw Radiohead at Madison Square Garden. They
love it.
They chose. So I'm not even a huge fan of, Creep is obviously their most famous song. That's the one everybody knows. I think for people who are huge Radiohead fans, you tend to not like that song very much. And I don't like actively listen to that song very much, but Radiohead, I don't know if you guys know this, like actively hated how popular that song became.
Really?
That they refused to play it live it was like 20 years or something like that. They did not play that song live. And they decided at that show to play that song for the first time live in
awesome.
15 or 20 years or whatever it was.
Let's go nuts.
And everybody there, like enough people there knew that, like this was the first time they were playing the song live.
They went nuts,
the moment the song started, everybody lost their shit.
Yes,
everyone was just
so cool.
singing along at the top of their lungs. And it was such a, there's like that spine tingling experience of like a huge.
Here's your hands stand up on your arms.
Well,
That's
hopefully
cool.
that they then saw that and said, you know what, maybe we'll put this in the set list every now and then. Because like people love this song. I mean, I know it's their most popular, and yeah, I get why people get,
They're
it's
kind
like
of
Warren Berry Pie, Andy.
Well, no. So no, here's a funny story. So I don't know if you like kind of 80s and 70s, Cheap Trick, the band Cheap Trick.
Yes, the Flame. They don't play
So
the Flame.
they had that song, The Flame, that came out in the 80s. It was a big power
Ballad.
80s ballad that came out.
They won't play it live.
And they won't play
It's a
it
great
live
song.
because they hate it so much. But I mean, the fans. Actually, one more crazy story about this. So there's a band from Boston called Extreme. Now, I don't know if you know Extreme or not. You probably know the song More Than Words. More Than Words is all. Do you know that song?
He's like,
it
no.
sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, it was the number one hit. That was a really popular song. So anyway, they went on tour opening up for Aerosmith, and they weren't playing More Than Words because it was the same thing. They're like, we don't want to play this anymore because it's
Craziness.
It's that's not what we're about. It's a ballad that we wrote, and it just got big. That's not what we like. So the lead singer's sitting in his dressing room, and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith walks into his dressing room, and he goes, "Hey, More Than Words, you don't play that." And he goes, "Nah, that's just not what we're about. It got big. It was the number one hit, but it's not what." He goes, "If you don't play that song tonight and for the rest of the tour, you're off the tour." He said, "People want to hear it.
Yes.
You wrote a hit song, you play it." And they have played it every show since Steven Tyler told them that, which was really, really funny. So
That's awesome.
yeah,
I like
so
that
that's
story.
really cool. You got to see Radiohead do that because people want to see it. That's how they got big.
There
is
you
you
go.
want to see that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Yeah.
The answer to your second question would be maybe a slight deep cut, but I think the album I've listened to the most over the last 2 years has been by a band called Turnstile.
I don't know that.
Ring a bell?
No, we'll have to look them up.
I think it came out it was either the end of 2021 or sometime in 2022. And man, I just love that album. I guess it's technically hardcore music, but it's like pop hardcore.
Okay.
And I love that band, and I would love to see him live.
Okay. So my band that I would want to see live that I have never, and I will never because he's dead, but is Queen. I would have loved to see Queen back in the day because Freddie Mercury and just and I know our viewers are probably tired of me saying that, but Queen. I mean,
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, if
that
we're allowed
would
to choose dead people, I would.
Yes.
I didn't know that was on the table. I'd probably pick Hendrix.
there you
Yeah,
go.
no, that would have been really cool to see Hendrix.
How about you,
play.
Andy? You've seen a lot of bands.
I have seen a lot of bands.
Is there a band that you've not seen?
I didn't see, Queen. I think that would have been cool. But you know who I'd like to have seen,
Yeah.
and this is rumored. We actually talk about this. We have a video coming out of our most anticipated albums of the year. But Bad Company with Paul Rogers is getting back together apparently this year. He's got one of the most iconic voices of all of rock and
they're
roll.
getting back together. They're putting out a new album.
And I would love to see Bad Company with Paul Rogers because I mean, that Bad Company is awesome. They just that's a soundtrack of youth from there with their greatest hits album. So that might be mine.
That's a good one, Andy. John Cran says Zepp with Bonham. Yeah, no doubt about that.
That's a good one. That's my answer for maybe the second greatest band of all time, Zeppelin.
Is that
Hell
one?
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you gotta go. I go Beatles, Zeppelin, Radiohead.
Oh, there's the.
That's
Cool
cool though.
Radiohead fan.
I love it. That's
All right,
great. I love it.
Todd, your top three.
It's not going to be as eclectic as his. Leopard, Motley Crue, and Kicks.
Fair enough. All right.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's good.
Into you.
Def Leppard's number one.
Yeah.
Second Story is probably number two.
Oh, shut up! He played two bands. God damn. That's
What?
his band, Brandon. He could play guitar. He could play 3 chords and sing. At a dive bar in Baltimore that he played 2 times, and he called him Second Story because it was on the second story of the bar. And
we were good, Brandon.
Oh
we were
my God.
good. We were really good.
anyway, all right, I'm going to bring up the wheel, guys. We're going to give away some Still Austin swag. And guys, thank you for the support. Hope you enjoyed tonight with Still. Brandon, you're the best, man. We love everything you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Andy's already cadoozle his way into coming down and seeing you.
Oh,
and
look, I'm there for work. I might as well come say hi to some friends. That's
Yeah.
great. Like, that's really cool. They'll be fun.
maybe a 21090 still off the pick eventually. How about that?
Yeah, no, that's fine. Patreon members, if you are
Stick around. We'll get to that too.
if you're around, we're gonna throw a link up if you want to. We're gonna just do a half hour of Patreon only.
Yep.
Where we're just we'll be hanging out after we get off with Brandon. So we'll put that link. Just be ready for that.
Look at
You
that
guys
beautiful
can come join us.
wheel, guys. Thank you for the support.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Let's bring that up, guys. Thank you so much, and Brandon, thank you. So let's see who wins the Still Austin swag and the samples of our whiskeys. So,
All right,
You ready,
here we
Andy?
go. Yep.
up? Is it up? We're good.
Oh, is it up?
I don't know. Can people see it? You're controlling that.
Yeah,
There
it's
you go.
up. It's up.
All right, guys. Thank you for the support. Awesome.
All right, go ahead. Here
Let's
we
see who
go.
wins.
Let's see who wins the Still Austin pack, which will be fun. And the winner is.
I can't see that. My eyes stink.
The winner is. What is it?
That's Mr. Great Joe G.
Poor Joe.
Oh,
see, that's
Joe
really
G.
cool.
What a great guy that is.
That's very cool. He actually lives. Mr. Great
In
lives in
Austin.
Austin. Of all things, how ironic is that? That's really cool.
Joe G. All right.
All right, very cool.
Very good, Joe.
So Todd, you can get a link ready for Patreon.
I can do that. Yeah. Why don't you? So Brandon, again, thanks so much.
Any last words you want to say before we all get off here?
No, I don't think so. Thanks, guys, for your hospitality. This has been super fun.
Yeah, that's
Hopefully,
great.
we're changing hearts and minds and putting Texas whiskey on the map here.
Yeah.
No, you guys are doing great work. We really appreciate it. I'm actually more excited now about what's to come from
Yes.
Still Austin because you guys are doing amazing things here. Not just because of what's going on with Nancy, but the whole process from start to finish has been ridiculous.
Bottle Bond series too.
Yeah, and I actually stick around, Brandon. We'll jump off air and we'll exchange information. I would love to hook up, but let me give you one last question that I hate to do this before you go, but you've been offered a slot to host a famous whiskey show that will eventually become the #1 rated show on Netflix.
What?
The producers tell you that you must pick your co-host. It's either Andy or Todd.
Oh God!
Who is your co-host?
Listen, he is lead singer
Before
syndrome,
you-
Brandon.
No,
lead
I
singer
just
syndrome.
I just ask you.
Lead
I
singer
have to
syndrome.
choose between the two of you.
No,
Yeah.
what's wrong with you?
I'm
Stop.
picking Andy because you asked me the question.
God damn it!
There you go.
I feel like it's a loaded question.
I think it's a perfect question,
A completely loaded question.
Maybe the best way we could end our stream. So
I love it. That's awesome.
But no, Brandon, thanks very much, man. We appreciate you very much. Had a great time.
Patreon, check on the Patreon. We'll have a link coming up if you want to come up and talk.
Patreon, if you
all
guys want
things
to hang
Still
out,
Austin.
we'll hop on after this. But thank you to Brandon. Thank you to all of you who
Yes.
super chatted tonight. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it. Next week we have Wyoming Whiskey on,
Yeah.
which will be a
David
lot of fun
DeFazio.
too. David DeFazio will be joining us. Another good group, good people out there in Kirby. A little
you
tiny
want to go there
town
too,
of
don't you?
70-some people. That's how small Kirby is, which is really cool.
You can go to that one.
Austin is just a little bit bigger, but yeah, hey, go check out Still Austin. If you are near Total Wine, go out there and grab some stuff. Also, don't forget to go to their page because 32 states, you can actually get some
Yes.
stuff shipped to you, and it is worth every penny. I tell you right now, you will not be disappointed. But Brandon, again, thank you, man. We appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. Cheers,
Okay,
Brandon.
great to be here.
Rock on.
All right, until
Thank you,
next
guys.
time,
Hey.
and there will be next time.
Oh, cheers, man.
Are you ready?